Hello there, it's June here, and today I'm doing an experiment. I'm recording my 7th foundation review video, but also what I'm doing is I'm recording it on 2 different cameras at once. So I've got 2 cameras going on here. I've got a HD camera in front of me, a camcorder, and I've got my old camera above. And so if my eyes are kind of moving weirdly, I don't have nystagmus, or I haven't had a stroke. Not yet anyway. I'm just recording on 2 cameras, so I'm just trying to see what works, because I really need to move away from this camera. It's just so bad. So I may use either film, I don't know, or I may edit both together and see what you think yourselves. So anyway, today is review time, and I'm gonna try and get through this quicker than I have before because I don't have much time. So the first one I want to review for you is this one here, and this is the Face Atelier Ultra Foundation, and it is in the shade 2, which is Ivory. So this Face Atelier is a company that you know, makeup artists seem particularly fond of, and the foundation has been getting rave reviews, and it's a real cult product now at this stage. So I bought this. I got a sample of it last year and I really liked it, so I went with it again, and I purchased it there a couple of weeks ago. It cost me about €40, so it is quite an expensive foundation. It was at least €40, and I'll put a link below as to where you can get this. So yeah, it's a nice liquid foundation, I think water-based, but with a lot of silicone. This is quite a slippery product when you put it on, and I'll just show there it is on my skin. So it's a pretty good match. They have a wide variety of shades. They also do a very dark one and a very white one, so that you can mix and match to achieve the shade that you want, a perfect match for your skin. But this is a pretty good match for my skin, so I just went with the Ivory. So yeah, so I avoided using a primer with this foundation because I thought, well, it certainly seems to contain a lot of silicone, and because of that I was worried about adding, you know, layers of silicone to my skin and just ending up with a big sort of slidey mess all over the place. And so I popped it on with a duo fibre brush, blended in extremely well. It reminds me of the Ellis Fast foundation in that it would be certainly hard to make it look cakey. It blends extremely nicely into your skin. It's quite pigmented, you don't need a lot of it, and it covered redness really nicely. I just put some powder over it. It does have a bit of a dewy finish, semi-matte finish, you know, which I liked. I did powder over my T-zone, and it grabbed the powder really nicely, looked very natural. So I wore it all day, didn't become particularly oily, a little bit around the T-zone, a little bit around the nose, but I attribute that to the silicone content. I just think if you've got oily skin, silicone is going to come out when your skin produces oil. It's going to sit on top of that, and it is eventually going to start moving around a bit. So I did find it came off my nose and forehead a little bit during the day, and so I would say that the lasting power is not 100% with this foundation. The following day what I did was I sprayed some model in a bottle over the powdered foundation when I'd finished doing my makeup, and it lasted much better, but still not as well as, say, the Clarins foundation or the NARS Sheer Glow. So overall I would say this would be an excellent foundation for dry skin, excellent for a more mature skin, and I mean, if you're young, hey, you know, you can wear anything. So yeah, I liked it. I thought it had a very nice soft focus effect on fine lines around the eyes, didn't settle into them and didn't highlight any pores. I just overall thought it did give a lovely semi-matte, soft finish to the skin. I think this would photograph really nicely. So I'd say for a wedding or something like that, something that would be a big deal where you're going to be photographed, I'd certainly say this would be a very nice foundation. It doesn't contain any SPF. So overall I'd say I'm going to give this, you know, 8.5 out of 10, because I really love the finish. I think it would tend to make one slightly oily if you're a bit oily to begin with. And the lasting power I would query, but that could just be my skin. But yeah, no, I did like it, and I think it's very, very good and worth the money, and I probably would buy this again. Second foundation I have for you then is the Kryolan Ultra Foundation, and this is in the shade 1W. Okay, now this is a lovely cream foundation. Kryolan products, I was a little bit iffy. I bought this because I did really read good reviews about it, and I'll put links to where you can get this. Kryolan, as you know, is a big theatrical makeup company, and they are becoming more and more popular, you know, as time goes on. This foundation cost me about, I think it may have been about €14. I could be wrong, but I think it was about that. So really a mid-priced, I mean the same price as an expensive drugstore foundation would be. 15 grams of product as well, which is really nice, and they have a huge range of colours to choose from. Now when you open it up, it just has the smell of Kryolan, and that's the only way I can describe that smell. And if you have Kryolan products, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. It is the smell of kind of roses, but not quite. I think it might be supposed to be roses, but it's a bit weird. So if you don't like pungency, you might not like this foundation. But yeah, I mean, look, I got over it. I don't really mind the smell that much, and it didn't cause me to react or anything like that. The foundation itself is quite pigmented. It's not quite as pigmented as the Graftobian cream foundation, but it's still pretty good, and it gave a very nice coverage, and I thought it was a very good match for my skin. Matched to my chest, it was ideal, absolutely perfect. When I put this on, I was astonished at how good it was. I used a 130 brush just to blend it in the first day. The second day I used the Beauty Blender sponge, and with either, it worked extremely well. You will get flawless coverage with this foundation. It is an oil-based foundation, but it doesn't feel terribly oily. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin. You can use a very small amount and get really nice coverage with it. It didn't look cakey. It grabbed onto the powder really nicely, and I just felt, of all the foundations I've used, it probably gave the most natural finish, but with good coverage. You know, for instance, the Ellis Fast foundation will give you a lovely natural finish, but the coverage is not excellent. The coverage is okay. With this, you probably don't need, I did not need concealer with this, and you know I've got horrible redness problems. I just loved it. I powdered over it, I wore it for the day. It lasted for the whole day. It didn't particularly get oily. Yeah, it just really worked well. And I mean, it is so cheap. I mean, you could buy 2 of these for the same price as 1 of these. You're going to get tons of product. And even with my combination skin, this didn't oil up on me. It didn't start falling off. It felt really light. I just love it. I just absolutely love it. So yeah, I mean, I would certainly recommend this if you like cream foundations, and not everybody does, but if you're a cream foundation person, I would say, look, you know, give that a try. It does smell funky, but it is brilliant stuff. So that's that, and I'm giving that a 9.5 out of 10, and only giving it 9.5 because 10 in my book, there can be no such thing as 10, because the perfect foundation doesn't exist. Perfect foundation would be human skin with no flaws, and there's no such thing. So 10 is out. Now I'm just quickly going to mention, I'm just going to look at the time here, and I'm doing okay. This foundation which I picked up, it's a drugstore one. It's the Matte Morphose from L'Oreal. It's in shade 110, which is Rose Ivoire, Ivory Rose, Rose Ivory or whatever. So it has this little thing, and it's like it's called Soufflé Foundation, and as a foundation this makes a really good soufflé. I just hated this. I hated it. I put it on, it like, okay, now I'm just going to put that on my hand. It's too dark for a start. It's a French brand, so surprise, surprise, you know, the lightest shade is way too dark for me. You can't really see it there, but it's not blending. It's just sitting in clumps on my skin. It forms a weird film over your skin. Maybe if you have really mature, really dry skin with lots of fine lines, you might like this. I don't know who this is aimed at. Aliens. The coverage is just okay. Oh no. Full of silicone. So it was like putting, you know, bathroom sealant on my face. After about an hour, the oiliness was becoming a real problem. It went kind of gritty looking on my skin. It didn't give me nice coverage. I couldn't put on concealer. It wouldn't blend with the concealer. It wouldn't even. I tell you what I did use was the Maybelline Dream Mousse concealer. That was the only concealer that looked as though it would even think about blending with this product. I powdered over it, and then I put on a cream blush, and that looked okay. I just hated it. I really thought like this was a waste of money. You know, this cost about the same price as this. I mean, this is just an amazing foundation. This is just tripe. This is crap. 2 out of 10, and only 2 because the jar looks kind of fancy. I don't know who this is aimed at or who it would suit, but it just sits on the top of your face, and it is like it's like bathroom sealant. That's the only way I can describe it. Silicone just sits on the top of your face, doesn't blend into your skin, and just looks awful. So look, this might work for other people. It says here, pores and wrinkles look smoother. 12-hour luminous matte finish. That's such a load of crap. 2 hours maybe of intense discomfort, and then after that just screaming. That's what I would put on the back of this jar. So definitely not impressed with that one, and it's not making me rush back to the drugstore for foundations, guys, I can tell you that. So that's really it. That's my review.